Hello! So today I'm going to be talking about Northwoods by Daniel Mason. I believe this is Daniel Mason's 6th novel, but it is the first that I have read, and after doing a little bit of Googling, I also found out that Daniel Mason is also a doctor. How he manages to put out books as well as being a doctor, I have absolutely no idea. When does he sleep? Absolute max jealousy levels. Northwoods is a historical fiction novel exploring themes of location, place, change, succession, and time. The narrative begins in the 1760s and continues all the way through to present day. It tells the story of a small house, a small cabin in the woods in New England, Massachusetts. The story is told in fragments, in snapshots of the inhabitants who have lived in this place. They include a young couple who have fled the Puritan colony, Native Americans defending their territory, an English soldier who decides to give up war and devote his life to apples. There are jealous twin sisters, daughters of the English soldier, who struggle to survive. A man engaged in hunting a runaway slave, a hunter who hires a medium to help lay some ghosts to rest. We get stories from a crime writer and a painter. And finally, we get short poems that are interspersed throughout the novel, along with the perspective of a beetle and a panther who at one point inhabited the cabin. All the stories are connected in various ways, and Daniel Mason does a fantastic job of allowing the echoes of each story to thread and flow throughout the novel. Each story takes a different approach in form. We have calendars, poems, footnotes, letters, case notes, we have an address to a historical society, and we even have a book of apple lore. It's frantic, it's chaotic, and some of the narrative threads are a lot easier to work out than others. The book does make you work at times, but that is all part of the fun. It would be very easy to pigeonhole this book as just a book of short stories with a kind of location, a place that's binding them all together. Which on paper, it kind of is. But it's not until you are inside this novel, until you are reading it, that you realise how deep the roots of location go into every story, how connected everything is, and how in fact this isn't really a book of short stories. This is a book about a place, a novel about a location, and how it threads itself into everything. There is a line towards the end of this novel that just so perfectly sums up what this book about. It sums it up so perfectly that I can't imagine anyone who's read this book or is talking to someone about this book wouldn't cite this line, because it sums it all up so perfectly. To understand the world as something other than a tale of loss is to see it as a tale of change. And yeah, that is what this book is all about. So what did I like and what didn't I like? What I liked, and actually it really should be what I loved, because here we go. I absolutely loved the writing style. I absolutely loved the structure. I absolutely loved the characters, and I absolutely loved the pacing. I'm sure if I said this book was really original, somewhere out there would kindly comment a list of books that are doing the exact same thing. Side note, if you have that list, please do comment. But in comparison to everything I have read recently, and that does include the entirety of the 2023 Booker long list, this book, it was just such a refreshing read. And just so you know, this book is better than every single book on the Booker long list. It is leagues above everything on the Booker long list for creativity, originality, prose. It just shits all over that list. This book is both epic and intimate. It is silly, strange, serious, playful. It is just an absolute testament to what a novel can be. So yeah, I really liked it. What didn't I like? There's only one thing I didn't like, and I know without a doubt that this is a very, very unique thing to me. Dates. I would have really loved to have known when we were. Each story there are no dates given, so the book is forcing you as a reader to figure out what time we are in based on the information that each story has given you. And that is absolutely fine. I think some readers will not mind whatsoever, but for me, my knowledge of American history is so bad that it would have been really nice to be able to put some of the details each story was giving me to an exact date. I think I just would have learnt more. It would have educated me a bit more. But as said, perhaps doing that might have cheapened this book a little bit. The challenge in figuring those things out is also part of the fun. Overall, this book is quite challenging, trying to figure out the links between each story, the changes in style consistently throughout. It does challenge you, and I think that this is just another part of that. But yeah, overall, I think if I'd been given the dates, it would have just made my experience a little cleaner. I would have learnt a bit more, but you know, I don't think everyone's going to require that. And just so you know, not having dates didn't damage my reading experience at all. I still had an absolutely fantastic time. I think it was just something a little extra I would have liked. I loved this book, and I will be giving it 5 shiny stars out of 5. I don't think this is a 5-star book for everybody. I actually think some people might not get on with it at all. I think your mileage may vary depending on how interested you are on each individual story. But honestly, if you're a bit put off by the first story or the first couple of stories, stick with it, okay? It all starts to thread together, it all starts to come together, and the end, at the very end, oh, so good. So yeah, I would say stick with it. Don't write it off based on the first 2 kind of stories, but, you know, I think books like this are really dependent on how interested you are in the individual elements that make up the whole. And yeah, if you don't dig most of them, then yeah, overall, it's not going to be a book for you. But I bloomin' loved it. So, have you read this book? And if you have, what did you think about it? Do you love it as much as I did? Or did you absolutely hate it? Please let me know in the comments below. As always, I want to thank you so much for watching. I hope you're enjoying whatever you may be reading, and I'll see you all on the next one.